Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to AT&T ReZero. Tonight we are on If Stories Part 2. So, first episode, first part, we did Pride, Lust, and Wrath. Now we're gonna do Sloth and Greed. I think there's also one for Gluttony, but that's like super spoiler heavy, so we're not gonna worry about that one yet. Of the last three that we've watched, Lust was easily the best one, right? The closest to a piece of art, the most poetic and well created. Actually, though, I really liked Wrath. Wrath was probably my favorite, but Wrath and Pride were both really good. So I'm excited to see what's up with Sloth. I'm kind of guessing that. So we're looking at the Echidna, Echidona, Echichowana videos, right? Check the description. Go like those. Go love those. Go watch those. Pog. And a little thumbnail shows Subaru and Rem. How do I still get their names mixed up? That's crazy to me. So Subaru and Rem, right? And so I'm kind of thinking that this story is going to take place right when, like the return from zero thing or whatever they called it, where Subaru is having his entire mental breakdown after the Julius stuff in the, with the whole royal selection, and then he was like, Ram, like let's leave together and like abandon all this. That's like the slothful pick, right? So that's kind of my guess for where this is gonna go. So what, are we just gonna get their entire life story? Is that why it's 4 parts and is an hour and some change long? Maybe. I guess I'm watching a movie at this point, because it's literally, let's see, it's 17 minutes and then like 13, 15, 23, and then we still got Greed to watch for another 17. It's just crazy to me. It's actually the If Stories movies. Wow. But yeah, so I guess in the sake of them being long, might as well get them started. Sloth time. I'll do a little bit of pausing here and there, probably just to like get thoughts out. Because these are some pretty packed videos, right? So gotta slip my own thoughts in, right? Okay. ReZero Sloth If Story Part 1. Let this go in 3, 2, 1, fine.
What if Subaru never said the words, "I love Amelia"? What if he chose Rem instead and ran away with her, leaving everything else behind?
Let's have the pregnancy
Sloth
arc.
If Story, Rem and Subaru run away together.
Oh, wait, they actually have kids.
But in order to achieve this happy ending, Subaru had to sacrifice everyone else. Throughout the story of ReZero, Subaru is repeatedly
I'm just like,
often being
how is this gonna be an hour long, right?
Virtue. In episode 18,
I mean, no way it's just them having kids for an hour. I mean, I'd watch it. I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize. Let me just pay attention.
Instead of hiding from them. In the Sloth If, this doesn't happen. Subaru chooses the easy way out and runs away with Rem, abandoning everyone he was supposed to save. The Sloth If Story is much, much longer than all the others combined. So
it's actually got multiple chapters.
Multiple parts. This video will cover the prologue as well as the first
2 months, 3 months. Oh,
now, I know the prequel was written after the original Rem If, but it's arguably more interesting, and I think it's best we start chronologically anyway. So without further ado, this is the Rem If prequel, the beginning of the ReZero Sloth If Story.
I just love this conceptually. I love the If Stories conceptually. I've already said that, but like, what a cool way to like add into the story at large. Just to like play with the bad endings.
Subaru are huddled up together, sharing a blanket inside a carriage. Rem's wide awake, but Subaru is currently asleep in the middle of a horrible nightmare. In his sleep, he starts mumbling out loud about his feelings of shame and self-hatred.
He do be lab pillowing though,
not
gonna lie.
Disturb the other passengers. Remember, because Rem agreed to run away with Subaru, episode 18 didn't happen the way we remember it. Subaru's mental conflict remains unresolved.
Oh, okay,
so he's still
gotcha.
Suffering from self-loathing,
so we're currently
depression,
riding
and now
away.
Guilt as well. One of the other passengers
What is that?
seemed to be genuinely concerned for the sleeping Subaru. He hands Rem a piece of paper and tells her to bring it to someone.
Find Hannibal. Isn't Hannibal the guy from the last one, from Wrath? Isn't Hannibal? Oh no. Wait, I might be wrong.
It's officially been over a year since
Let's see.
Subaru was transported to the ReZero world, and he's now living in Kararagi,
I gotta-
kingdom west of Lagunica.
I gotta look at
Subaru's
this
had to
map
move
at
around
one
several
point.
times, but he finally settled in a town called Banat. In many ways,
I can just do that right now. I forget that I can pause this because it's not like, since this is a YouTube video, I can have the full opacity, so I feel like I don't have to like timer things. Bet. Okay, let me look at this full map for a second. Screw the story. Okay, so we got Laguncia, whatever here. The great waterfalls on the top right here. Wait. We have the entire... Okay, so we have Antarctica in the north. Gasteco. Pardosia. Or Orco's domain. Okay. Laguncia. Lagunica. I think Lagunica is the pronunciation. Lagunica chilling right here. What do we got around here? Arlam Village, Roswell's Mansion. Okay, so this is like, we've been in this chunk. Flugo's Tree. Wow. We've really only been in like a tenth of the map, if that. Benedict domain. Who's Benedict? Okay, anything else down here? Bonobo. I feel like I recognize Bonobo. Flanders. Okay. And we're going to Kararagi. I suppose. It's interesting, the naming structure for Kararagi. I think they zoom in a second, so I'll hold for a second here. Look at this. The first city, it literally is just called the first city, the second city, the third city, etc. Is there a third city? Oh yeah, it is right there. 1, 2, 3. Is there a fourth city? I'm not seeing fourth. That'd be kind of cool if like... Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. I don't think there's a fourth city. Look, it's just the first, second, third, fifth, sixth, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Where's the fourth? Oh, it's at the bottom left. I'm just cringe. That would have been cool, though. Imagine, like, it's named structurally, like, extending numbers, but one of the numbers is missing because it got, like, wiped off the map. That'd be a fun way to, like, you know, do a little bit of world building. Crimson Hills Grawl. Man, do we even go to these places, or do we just stay, like, in the actual main story? Are we gonna go to these places?
He's now living in
The insect tribe? We got insect people?
Kararagi, the
Wait.
kingdom west of Lagunica.
What do the women look like? Insect women.
Finally settled in a town called
Don't judge
Banat.
me.
In many ways, Kararagi was oddly similar to Japan, almost too similar.
What do you mean by that?
Kararagian residents eat with chopsticks and wear traditional Japanese clothing. Kararagi's buildings resemble early Japanese architecture, and the Kararagi accent sounds exactly like the Kansai dialect. So somehow Japanese
Wait.
Kararagi
Evidently, everyone in Western Kararagi speaks that way. Okay,
sounds
cool.
exactly like the Kansai dialect.
So we've name dropped Kararagi a
Somehow
few
Japanese
times.
culture had infiltrated its way into Kararagi.
Oh yeah, I've seen this as well with the Flugo, right? That there's other people besides Super that jumped worlds. Flugo being one of them, because Japanese was written on the tree. Which, by the way, I've never even like gone off about this. Maybe I have. So Subaru sees Flugel's writing on the tree, right? And the writing's in Japanese, right? Hey Subaru, isn't that like a massive deal? Because if he noticed that, I feel like if I saw that, that would change everything. Because that means there's somebody else in the world that knows the Japanese script, which would only happen if you're from Japan. Which means you got transported here. Like, that's such a big deal. That's like a big enough deal to like drop whatever you're doing and go find Flugel and be like, hey, explain this, my guy. Yeah, or something, right? I mean, no, he doesn't really have the opportunity to do that, but I feel like that's just such a massive deal for him to know in character. But whatever.
Is this just a coincidence? I personally
Not a
don't
coincidence.
think so,
No
and
shot.
Neither does Subaru. There is definitely something strange going on in Kararagi, so if any of my subscribers have a theory about this, I would like to read it if you want to leave a comment. Anyway, Subaru and Rem now share an apartment in Kararagi as husband and wife.
Nice.
Yes, Natsuki Rem
And of course she's
is
in
more
a
beautiful
like
now than she was in the past.
a Japanese
Instead of a
thing, you
maid
know.
outfit, she wears a blue kimono.
Kimono,
which is
yeah.
the color of her hair, which is actually a lot longer now. Rem works as an elementary school teacher, and Subaru is currently unemployed, searching desperately for a job. Rem doesn't earn
Unemployed
a lot of money as a teacher,
Subaru.
so Subaru feels guilty for making her support the both of them. Their next door neighbor
There he
is
is.
a shabby-looking wolf human named Hannibal.
Hannibal.
If you saw my Wrath video
Yep,
or you read
yep.
the story, you're probably familiar with Hannibal already. But for those of you who don't know, Hannibal is one of the strongest characters in ReZero.
Just out of
Think of
nowhere.
him as the ultimate ninja. He's pretty well known throughout Kararagi, but at this point in the story, Subaru thinks he's just a normal guy. Hannibal often makes fun of Subaru for being unemployed and teases him, and their relationship is kind of similar to that of Subaru and Julius, at least in the sense that Subaru acts like he hates hates Hannibal, but deep down, we all know how he really feels.
Aw,
anyway,
little
Hannibal's gonna
Sunday.
be an important character later, but as of right now, Subaru's #1 concern is finding a steady source of income. So he heads on down to the town's
Okay, the
employment
unemployment
office
arc
and
for
checks the
Subaru.
quest board for a suitable
What's up,
job.
Konosuba?
One of
Yeah.
the job offers looks pretty interesting. Investigate Zarestia's bed, it says. Subaru tries to accept the quest, but apparently he's too late. Someone else is already doing it. Now,
And
Subaru didn't know this at the time, but
oh, that's
Zarestia's
the top
bed
left
is a
location,
location
yeah.
in Kararagi where the great spirit Zarestia resides. It's
Oh,
known
okay.
to be an extremely dangerous area surrounded by deadly wind that kills anyone who tries to enter. The great spirit Zarestia has been around longer than the dragon, which also means they
Wow.
were able to survive the Great Calamity 400 years ago. But all this information about Zarestia is pretty much public knowledge in Kararagi, but again, Subaru had no idea.
He just got here, so he's dumb.
Anyway, Subaru ends up accepting a completely different job offer. He's gonna be working in one of the town's mansions
butler?
as a maid.
As a maid?
Yeah, so Rem teases him a little bit when she finds out, but ultimately Subaru's just happy that he finally has a real job.
Okay,
His
dude.
first day of work is in 2 days from now, so Rem tells him he better go to sleep early tomorrow.
Nightmare, nightmare,
But
nightmare.
tonight,
Whoa!
the two of them can stay up as long
Oh,
as they want.
Rem, this is
Yeah,
not
Rem likes
Nightmare.
making little sex jokes, but the best part about it is actually that she isn't joking at all. 2 days later, Subaru starts his first day of work and immediately gets harassed by all the other maids, which are mostly middle-aged women. Subaru eventually complains to the mansion owner that his ass has been smacked close to 1,000 times.
Wow.
The mansion owner tells him it's probably just because he has a nice ass.
Okay,
and that's how
dude.
The first chapter ends.
What a chapter. Becomes a maid, gets sexually harassed. Okay.
Chapter 2, 3 months. After a while, Subaru started getting used to his new job. Eventually, the sexual harassment
I'm about to
started
sneeze.
die
I feel like
down
I'm about
too,
to
and
sneeze.
Subaru was recognized as a hard worker by the
Oh
employees.
no!
One day, Rem
Thank you.
surprise visited Subaru at the mansion while he was working, and afterwards she waited for him
Aw.
outside so that the two of them could walk home together. Kararagi was beautiful at night, and Rem looked gorgeous with the moonlight reflecting off her kimono. But about halfway through their walk, the world itself suddenly fell unnaturally silent.
Satela?
At the same time, Rem and
Assassin?
Subaru both realized that something was wrong. Subaru held his breath as he looked across the street and saw a black shadow standing there. It was a bit taller than Rem, but shorter than Subaru, and he could tell by its figure that it was a thin, delicate woman.
Never
Her
seen
hair
you
was
before.
white, but her clothes were as black as the night sky. It was rather common to see prostitutes at night in Kararagi, but
Okay.
something about this woman
Not
was
a
different.
prostitute.
There was something
Or
about
maybe
her
a
that gave Subaru
OP
a sense
prostitute.
of dread. Her glowing eyes suggested that she was something other than human, like she had the body of a person, but was instead something much more repulsive. As Subaru looks at the woman's eyes, he feels a sense of violence
Snake.
and hostility directed towards him, and then realizes he can't move at all.
Snake.
Frozen in fear, he forgets how to breathe and starts losing consciousness. The overwhelming presence increased its pressure to the point that it practically burnt Subaru's skin, and the atmosphere was filled with a strong sense of murderous intent. But Subaru just stood there, frozen. It was as if all the courage was drained from his soul. There was nothing he could do besides hope that Rem would protect him. Die, the woman says, as an invisible gust of wind flies towards the unmoving Subaru. Rem grabs him and jumps away from the attack, which vaporizes
I love
the
these
area
little
he was standing.
these little animation
Rem was
edits.
still a competent fighter, but she was no match for this opponent, especially with Subaru in her arms. Also, the kimono she wore limited her agility quite a bit, so she knew she wouldn't be able to keep dodging the wind
Just
attacks
rip out of
much
it.
longer. The white-haired
Just make
woman
moves.
continues
But
repeating
okay.
the word die over and over while blasting deadly gusts of wind at Subaru. Strangely enough, she wasn't aiming for Rem at all. If Subaru could just dodge the attacks on his own, Rem could possibly try to fight the woman or at least distract her for long enough for Subaru to escape, but Subaru couldn't move, so Rem had no choice but to carry him. However, there was nowhere for them to run, so Rem understood that they would both soon be dead. She decides that she's gonna sacrifice herself first, because that way Subaru could
What
at
a-
least survive
what a
couple
woman.
seconds longer.
Rem is so
It wasn't the happy
ride or
ending
die.
she wanted, but it was all she could do. But the gust of wind that was meant to kill Rem was suddenly blocked by the sound of steel. That's
Oh,
what
Hannibal. Thank you,
says,
Hannibal.
appearing out of nowhere. The powerful wind attack was reduced to nothing by just a small knife being thrown by Hannibal. Subaru was shocked after seeing what just happened. Remember, he thought Hannibal was just a normal guy before this.
No,
He
Hannibal
also
makes
couldn't
moves.
comprehend why Hannibal was even saving them in the first place. Anyway, Hannibal casually starts walking towards the woman, effortlessly blocking her attacks while she continues repeating the word die. Eventually, Hannibal asks her the question, which me would you like to be killed by?
Bars.
And then splits into 4 different clones
Shadow
of
clone
himself.
jutsu.
Each Hannibal clone starts making jokes and basically just acting like the original. But the cool part about this ability is that these aren't fakes or decoys or anything. They're actually identical copies of the real Hannibal. So he didn't divide his body into fourths, but instead he literally became 4 people. So basically,
Amoeba.
Hannibal's power just quadrupled. Seeing this, the woman jumps to the roof of the building next to her, trying to retreat. 3 of the Hannibals throw knives at her, and she manages to block 2 of them, but the 3rd pierces through her thin back. She lets out a slight groan and
This is just wild to me.
Hannibal
Just a
appeared
random
to be
girl. Okay.
satisfied with the outcome when suddenly
Thanks,
Rem
Hannibal.
collapses into Subaru's arms.
Oh,
was
she did.
unconscious, but still breathing.
No, she chilling.
Still, Subaru was worried that she might have been cursed or something, so he carries her back to the apartment while Hannibal searches the town for a healer.
Nice.
Eventually, Subaru
Who was the
arrives
woman?
at the
Do we even
apartment
know?
with
Do we
Rem
even
in his
care?
arms. It's all my fault, he thinks to himself as he waits helplessly, begging Rem's unconscious body to wake up. After a couple minutes go by, the door opens, except it
Hannibal?
isn't Hannibal.
No?
In walks
Oh.
the same white-haired
Okay,
woman
that's
from
good.
before, except this time the evil, murderous aura wasn't there, and the woman wore a white kimono instead of a black one.
Oh.
Subaru looks at her and stiffens up when he realizes who she is. Hello? What's wrong with you? Why are you ignoring me? The woman says. She didn't seem nearly as dangerous as before, but Subaru knew he had to protect Rem, so he grabs a bucket of water and throws it on the woman. He knew
Okay.
he couldn't damage her
Good
on his
job.
own, so
Yeah.
his plan was to just distract her until Hannibal arrived.
Yeah, hit him with the water
Charges
tech.
at the woman, trying to grab her around the waist and use one of his wrestling moves, but she blocks him and knocks him to the floor, telling him, "Just because I'm cute doesn't mean you get to hug me." Subaru's not giving up yet, though. Again and again, he gets up and charges at the woman, who continues knocking him to the floor until eventually his face is broken and his entire body's covered in blood. He knew what death felt like, so he could tell he was getting closer and closer.
See, it's just
Regardless, he
like,
couldn't let her kill
I'm just
Rem
gonna have to
no matter
pause because it's like I don't know. It's just so odd to me. It's just this random woman. It's just okay. I don't know. It feels a little odd, probably just because it's being like just told rather than like we're actually seeing it play out, right? But like, what am I trying to say? It's so unlucky for this guy that he literally moves cross-continent to get away from all the nonsense, and then immediately some random OP wizard, spirit, jitsu, ninja, I don't know, are you Flugel, or is Flugel a woman? I don't know. Whoever this is, it's probably not Flugel, probably not, but whoever this is just shows up and starts, like, screwing with him, like,
what.
I don't know, it's just so unlucky.
Throws him across the room,
And now he's, like, killing himself
Subaru is
trying to
far
wrestle
too
her.
weak to get back up.
Like, okay,
But
thanks,
the woman
Subaru.
doesn't kill Rem. She takes a good look at her and then just leaves without doing anything. She lets Subaru survive.
I need
as well.
Hannibal to
In
come
fact,
explain
she
all
never
this.
actually attacked him. All she really did was defend herself from Subaru's attacks. It was quite odd because earlier that night she didn't show any mercy whatsoever.
No, that was
Subaru passes
Black
out
Dress
and
her.
wakes up a
It's
while
different.
later. Hannibal's there now
What's
with
up,
a
Hannibal?
healer who's currently healing Subaru. Subaru immediately asks him about Rem. Is it a curse? Is she gonna die? What's wrong with her? Etc, etc. The healer replies by telling Subaru he's got good news and better news.
Oh,
The good news is that Rem isn't cursed or anything like
She's
that.
sleepy.
She just passed out from exhaustion.
Yeah, she was using her horn,
Whenever
probably.
Her body's gotten enough rest.
Yeah, that's
That was
fine.
the good news. Now, as for the better news, all he says is the word congratulations.
Oh, pregnant.
First, Subaru didn't understand, so
Pregnant.
the healer makes it a bit more clear for him. Subaru, your wife. is
Aw,
3 months
nice.
pregnant with your
They got pregnant reading magic.
Subaru's eyes opened
Pregnancy
wide.
test spell.
Pregnant? Rem's pregnant? This new information was so overwhelming
Nice.
that Subaru couldn't think properly. Halibal tells him that he's got something important to ask him, but now is
Yeah, Halibal,
obviously
you want to
not the
explain
right time.
what is
Right
happening?
now, the most important thing is for Subaru to spend time with his pregnant wife and to make sure that he's the first thing she sees when she wakes up. Halibal tells Subaru that he'll talk with him tomorrow morning and then exits the room shortly after. The healer follows him out, leaving the married couple alone together. After a couple hours pass, Rem nervously opens her eyes and says Subaru's
Oh, good
name.
morning.
Subaru gives
morning,
her a
Rem.
brief summary of the previous night's events, answers all her questions, and then informs her that she's pregnant with his child. Rem was obviously quite surprised, but Subaru restates it again in greater detail just to reiterate. Rem
Do we
was
know if it's a boy or
basically
girl
in
yet?
shock, but she manages to ask Subaru what he thought about it. Maybe Subaru's unhappy about it, is what she was thinking. But Subaru corrects her, explaining that it makes him extremely happy that she's pregnant. He hugs her and tells her thank you
Babies.
over and over. This causes Rem to start crying, which causes Subaru to start crying, and then the happy married couple hold on to each other, sharing their joy with one another. Rem tells Subaru she loves him, and the chapter ends.
Okay. So we got random, insane assassin, princess, ninja, black and white, whatever. And Rem is pregnant? Oh, it's just...
So between chapters 1 and 2,
Oh, it's like a
there's
pregnancy
1
term.
month
The entire
time
thing's
skip,
just
and
over the
looks like
course of the
chapter 3
pregnancy? That's
continues
actually
right where we
wild.
left off, so we'll probably get to hear what Halibal wanted to talk to Subaru about, and hopefully we'll learn a little bit more about this mystery bitch.
Sure.
She
That's what I'm
appears
saying.
twice in the same night, except her outfit,
Okay.
her aura, and her personality were different. The first time we saw her, she didn't say anything except die.
Die.
But the second
Yeah.
time, she's almost got the attitude of a tsundere, and she wasn't even trying to kill anyone. So
She's
what's
just
going
chilling.
on here? Are there twin sisters? Are they split
Twin
personalities?
sisters is a good
Maybe
idea.
She's just bipolar. Let me know what you guys think is going on. Also, I've probably made it a bit obvious by now, but let me know if you know who she is. All theories are welcome in the comment section.
What do you mean?
Overall,
I don't know who she is. Who is this hoe? I mean,
let me know if
what is it gonna be like? One of the a bishop? I mean, she's just some random hoe. Just hit me with the next episode. Let me just keep going, keep it going, keep the train running. Episode 2, part 2. Pregnancy,
Welcome
babies,
back, fans, to the
Halibal.
Sloth IF Story, also known as the Rem If Story.
Crazy
Last
hoe.
video was part 1 where we covered the first 2 chapters of the Rem If prequel, so if you haven't seen that video yet, you can find a link to it in this video.
I wonder what Ram is up to during all
video
this.
is
Like if
part 2
Ram's
of
ever
the
gonna show up.
series, and we will be
Like track her
covering
sister
chapter
down.
3, but before I begin the summary, let's go ahead and do a quick
Yeah.
recap of everything that's happened.
Or even like Roswell or Amelia, right? Like any of them.
Rem and Subaru ran away together and got
Recap.
married, leaving Amelia behind.
Let me take a sip of my agua.
As a lot of you pointed out
Oh,
in the
Amelia's just
previous
dead.
video, when Amelia dies, Puck is supposed to try to destroy the world, but obviously
Wait, what do you mean?
has
Wait, Amelia died? No, wait, my fault.
Amelia behind to die.
Oh, yeah, I guess we were trying to save her from the witch's cult. So if he just left, then she would have died. Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Okay, then what about like Roswell, Julie as Reinhard? We know Reinhard's still alive. That guy just doesn't die in this story. Yeah. Okay, rip
Now,
Amelia.
as a lot of you pointed out in the
So yeah, what's
previous
Puck
video,
doing? Good
when
question.
Amelia dies, Puck is supposed to try to destroy the world, but obviously the world hasn't ended in this If story, so we can only assume that someone in Lagunica was
Killed
powerful enough
Puck.
to kill Puck.
Oh,
However,
good.
It is highly likely that thousands of innocent people were frozen to
I mean,
death.
honestly, Reinhard,
Anyway,
you know.
Subaru and Rem moved to a Kararagi town called Banana.
Oh no,
where
Puck's
Subaru
killing
finally
everyone.
gets a
Reinhard,
job.
dead.
1 month
Easy.
later, a mysterious white-haired woman tries to kill him, but luckily he is saved by Halibal. Later that night, the same woman shows up again, except her outfit and personality are completely different, and she
Right.
no longer has the desire to kill Subaru. After she leaves, Subaru discovers that Rem is pregnant with his child, and then the two of them share a nice little happy moment together. The next chapter picks
More
up right
kids,
where we
make
left
more
off.
kids.
Chapter
Okay.
3, 3 months.
Sure, what's going on?
After learning of Rem's pregnancy, the happily married couple spent the entire night celebrating. The next morning,
Celebrating?
Halibal stops by to say hello, but Subaru is
Oh, let me get
kind
my
of upset.
captions on, my fault.
Remember, nobody told Subaru that Halibal was the strongest person in Kararagi.
What?
Subaru had thought
No caption options. What? This is so sad. Look, it's got Portuguese and it's got Vietnamese. Can we auto-translate the Vietnamese to English? I mean, that's just gonna be messed up, right?
Hannibal was just...
Let's see what it says.
Hannibal was the strongest person in Kararagi. Subaru had thought Hannibal was just an...
Yeah, okay, we're not gonna... Okay, no captions for this one. Unlucky,
So when
unlucky.
he saw him in action for the first time, he was pretty shocked and even a bit offended. Truthfully, Subaru had grown suspicious of Hannibal. Everything he had previously thought about him turned out to be a lie. So now he didn't...
I mean,
know
Hannibal
what was real
did
anymore.
save you, though,
Could
to
you
be
even
fair.
trust Hannibal? He wasn't sure. And
But
that
sure.
kind of hurt Hannibal's feelings. Hannibal didn't want Subaru to treat
Wow,
him
what a
any
nice
differently
house.
from before, so to ease the tension a little bit, he jokingly threatens Rem and Subaru's lives and then laughs his ass off. I think it was at this point when Subaru realized Hannibal hasn't really changed at all. But Hannibal goes on to explain a little bit of his backstory. His wolf-human species is almost extinct. He's one of the last surviving shinobi warriors. He knows how to use curses, and he specializes in attacking his opponent's weak points, but he's not allowed to explain how he fights. All we really need to know is that the shinobi were a group of ninjas, and of course, ninjas were Japanese.
Right.
And by the way, all the buildings in Kararagi have Edo period architecture, which
Okay,
was
I
actually...
mean, that's kind of important, right? If all the buildings and such, and like the shinobi and all that, like the ninja stuff is coming from a certain Japanese time period, that means we know when Flugel, or whoever is the one that brought this Japanese stuff, yeah, maybe not Flugel, but we know whenever the person, like, got pulled out of Japan, because they would have left Japan around here, right? Unless they were just like, I don't know, got pulled out 400 years later, but we're really into the Edo period for some reason,
Actually, the same
you know?
time ninjas were prevalent in Japan. So once again, guys, Japanese culture has heavily...
But it's like this specific. It's probably they probably got pulled out from that specific time
Anyway,
period,
at
but
some point,
we don't really know.
Subaru decides to thank Hannibal for saving his life.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Hannibal accepts his thanks and then takes a big puff of whatever's in his pipe. But obviously, Subaru doesn't want him smoking around Rem anymore.
Oh yeah, we got a baby.
Hannibal, could you please not smoke tobacco around my pregnant wife?
Yes.
To which Hannibal replies, "Oh, don't worry, Subaru. This isn't tobacco."
Oh yes, sir,
Apparently,
Hannibal.
Hannibal has to smoke medicinal herbs constantly throughout the day in order to stay alive. Well, at least that's what he says.
No, that's a
Anyway,
lie.
The conversation takes a more serious turn when Hannibal brings up the white-haired woman from the previous night. Subaru's first thought was that the woman's another Sin Archbishop of the witch cult, but Rem tells him that's not the case.
Yeah.
For some reason, Rem can smell the witch's scent, and apparently that woman didn't smell like the witch at all. In fact, Hannibal couldn't smell her either, which is odd because as a wolf human, his nose is supposed to
I mean,
be
is she?
very
Wait, is she the spirit from that one location that the quest was for that Subaru didn't pick up?
They have no idea
Because there was a great spirit there, right?
when the woman will
Could have been a
attack
spirit,
again, so Subaru
I guess.
decides to take a day off from work and spend the day inside the apartment protecting Rem. But there's a problem. It's not like Subaru can just call in sick, so he actually has to physically go and tell his boss that he's taking the day off.
Why does he have a portrait of
Guess
Petra?
who he runs into on his way there.
Oh, what's up, woman?
Why are you staring at me? The white-haired woman says. It was broad daylight, so Subaru could finally see her face clearly. Her face was definitely too beautiful to be human. She looked out of place in public, almost like
Oh, right, and she was
kind
kinda
of
non-human, right?
Picture painted by God himself. The woman sighs and says, "Well, whatever. I guess we can talk on our way to your apartment." Subaru's initial response was to resist, but he quickly realized he couldn't stop her even if he tried to. She could kill him at any moment if
Yeah,
she wanted
probably
to,
just a
so
spirit.
He really had no choice but to comply.
That one spirit.
As the two of them
I kinda
walk
hate her,
together
though.
back
I want her
the
to
apartment,
die.
The woman starts humming a song.
Be
out
quiet.
For a second, she didn't seem dangerous at all, but Subaru wasn't gonna let his guard down just yet. They eventually arrive back at the apartment where they find Hannibal and Rem. Hannibal immediately tries to flirt with the woman, but she
Good.
rejects him and calls him a mutt.
No,
Rem
good move,
invites everyone
Hannibal.
inside to talk and offers to make some tea. Rem's politeness appeared to put the woman in a better mood, so she introduces herself.
Thank you,
For
finally.
now, you can just call me Tia.
Tia.
Tia explains that she doesn't want to kill anyone for the time being, so long as they simply return what they've stolen from her. As
Oh,
she
yeah.
says this, she looks directly at Rem. Respond carefully, she says. Yes is the only answer I want to hear.
Is she a mummy?
Give me back my light ball. A strong blade of wind blew past Rem and lacerated the wall behind her. But Rem was much
Not
more
the Minecraft
confused than she
painting.
was intimidated. She definitely didn't steal anything from Tia, nor did she know what a light ball even was. But Tia wasn't satisfied with Rem's confused response. I warned you, she says, as another gust of wind ravages the apartment, showering the walls with cuts and gashes. Luckily, none of them hit Rem because if they had, she would have been split in half. Also, for some reason, Hannibal stood in the corner watching silently. The previous night, he had protected Rem and Subaru and actually fought the woman, but now he was just standing there, perfectly calm. Tia asks Rem the question one last time. Where is my light ball? But Rem still has no idea what she's talking about.
Like, what is happening? You know what I'm saying? There's just this random woman named Tia asking Rem about a light ball, and there's this wolf guy in the corner, and wind is happening. It's just like, it's just so peculiar to me. It's just so peculiar.
Tia's anger finally explodes, and the terrifying wind magic devastates the entire room.
But like, okay, so she's not actually killing anyone when she could be. It's not luck that Rem didn't get his, because she's not aiming at Rem, which is why Hannibal doesn't care, because Hannibal probably knows what's going on, right? I don't know what a light ball is. Is I don't know, the baby inside of Rem's stomach the light ball? You want my baby? It's mine.
The walls, the door, the furniture, and the floor were all obliterated by Tia's destruction.
Thank you for that,
Subaru,
Tia.
Rem, and Hannibal themselves remained unharmed. The blades of wind flying randomly around the room had somehow avoided them. It was almost like the attacks weren't actually random and Tia was controlling them
of course,
so that they wouldn't hurt anyone, as if she was just trying to scare them. Subaru picks up on this and accuses Tia of bluffing. In response, Tia finally gives up and lets out a sigh and starts pouting. Look, I didn't know Rem was pregnant, she says.
You feel bad.
She explains that normally she would have just killed Rem for stealing her property, but because the baby didn't do anything wrong...
Ooh, okay, as a Shinigami. Okay, cool.
She tells everyone
I like that, though.
If Rem doesn't give her back the light ball, she's just gonna have to wait until...
So we gotta find the light ball in the next 7 months.
Everyone in the room just kind of stares at Tia
before the baby, whatever months, X amount of months before the baby gets born.
Stomping on the ground, saying,
right?
Stop looking at me like I'm crazy. Rem
Gotta find the real thief.
They all keep staring at her, and Rem points out that Tia's bad behavior was similar to that of the children she teaches at the elementary school.
Bars.
Rem points her finger at Tia and scolds her, saying, Tia-sama, we would like to help you find your light ball, but not until you learn how to behave. Understand? Tia nods her head timidly and quietly says,
okay, dude. You're just...
Rem had easily taken control of the situation, and Tia was now
acting
like a
come
child
on.
awaiting punishment. Rem gets Tia to promise not to attack anyone unless she can actually prove that they took her light ball. But from now on, Tia's gonna watch Rem and Subaru closely and try and gather evidence that they stole it. Meaning that yes, Tia wants to live with Rem and Subaru from now on. Hell no, Subaru
okay,
says.
so Hannibal.
Them,
you know where the light ball is, right?
Rem,
I mean, surely.
Obviously means no more sex.
No, she can watch. It's
Subaru
fine.
Absolutely has to
I mean, she's
Rem
hot.
every night, or else their marriage might suffer. So there's no way Tia can live in the same apartment.
What's wrong? Okay, fine, whatever. If you're not comfortable with that, Subaru, it's okay.
And give Tia their old one. Plus, Tia basically ruined
Destroyed
the old
it,
apartment
yeah.
with wind magic anyway, so it's not like they wanted to live there anymore, nor did they want to pay for the damages. As they explained this to her, Tia was taken aback at how forceful they were. Earlier, she felt like she held all the power in the situation, but quickly lost her initiative, ended up submitting to Rem's motherly scolding, and now she's agreeing to pay for an apartment she destroyed only minutes earlier. You guys are kinda tough, she says. And
it's just peculiar, man. I'm in a peculiar state.
Beautiful, unreasonable Shinigami.
Shinigami. So what do we mean by
That day,
Shinigami?
Rem punishes Tia by making her clean up the apartment. Meanwhile,
Like
Hannibal and Subaru
she went from this murderous tempest storm to literally being cleaning up the apartment because Rem's like, oh, clean it up, clean up your mess.
outside to talk and cry.
It's just
Now that
Hannibal,
they were
explain what the
finally
light bulb
alone,
is.
Hannibal admits that the reason he didn't protect them earlier was because, as a shinobi, he's able to read people's emotions flawlessly, and apparently Tia
Oh,
didn't
that's a
show
good skill
any
to
signs
have.
of hostility even as she was destroying the apartment. However, she is still quite dangerous and could possibly pose a threat to them again in the future. And because Hannibal can't detect her scent, he might not be able to stop her if she attacks again. So remember last chapter, Hannibal told Subaru he had something important to ask him. Suddenly, the air around Hannibal grew colder as he asked Subaru the question, "Do you want me to get rid of her?" Subaru took a while to answer,
Appreciate that,
but
Hannibal.
ultimately decides to let her live. He didn't want Hannibal to play the role of a villain, and because Rem appears to trust Tia already.
Well, why does Hannibal even,
decided
like...
that he should as well.
Why is Hannibal willing to ice people for
The
Subaru?
cold air coming from Hannibal's body vanished within an instant, and he
Just
went
'cause
back
he's
to being
buds?
the same old sluggish wolf. Hannibal laughed at Subaru for so easily forgiving someone who had
I
almost
mean,
murdered him.
that would
but
kind of
little
even
did
be
he
fair,
know,
because Subaru does make friends with people really easily, you
Subaru
know?
was actually married to someone who had murdered him. Rem walks
Sure.
outside with Tia and tells Subaru and Hannibal to come inside and help pick out some clothes for Tia to wear. Subaru and Hannibal head back inside, and the chapter ends.
Bro, I'm not gonna pick out your clothes for you. Pick out your own
Now,
clothes.
the next chapter is
You literally have 2 outfits. Just do your 2 outfits. I do not
6
care.
months, so there's going to be a 3-month time skip, and I'm excited to see how Tia's adapted to living next door to Rem and Subaru. I thought this chapter was pretty good. It was mostly dialogue, but I was definitely entertained. We got some more information about Hannibal, which is
I don't really need like the come down off it. Just like, keep the train going. Keep the train going. Part 3. Yeah, look at him roll out. 3-month time skip.
Welcome back, ReZero fans. It's time for another episode of the ReZero Sloth IF Story. This is part 3, so if you haven't seen the first 2 videos, click the link in the description. This video
I got you.
will cover
Just came
chapters
off of
4 and
those.
5, and we have no time to waste, so let's get right into it.
Okay. Tia Rem stole the light ball? Question mark. Wants to live with them. Is living next door. Hannibal's not supposed to kill Tia. What's up with Hannibal? Hannibal's got Shadow Clone Jutsu. What's a light ball? I don't know. Who is this Shinigami? You're gonna just kill people because you think they stole your light ball? Rem doesn't even know what a light ball is, man. Like, gain a brain. Continue.
For the past several days, Tia has been living in...
I kind of hate Tia. Can we kill Tia? Oh, man, if I was Subaru, Hannibal says, you want me to get rid of her? I say, yes, please, and thank you. I'm sick of her.
The old apartment. Hannibal lives
What's up with this green streak in your hair, man? Yeah?
in the apartment to her right, and Subaru and Rem live in the apartment to her left.
Oh, and now we do a little triple apartment trio, like, oh, like, what is this, a sitcom? Get rid of her, man. Like, why does she look like this? She looks like Ekidona mixed with Amelia with yellow eyes with a splash of Pandora. You know what I'm saying? Which just makes me want her to die. All right,
And
let's
by
keep
the way,
going.
the walls of these apartments are very thin, so sometimes at night, Tia will sit with a red face listening
You telling me Tia is getting flushed because Rem and Subaru are just making babies?
to noises coming from the apartment to her left.
Okay, dude. Okay, you don't gotta play the squeaky effect, man. Okay, dude.
Every morning, the 4 of them eat breakfast together.
Oh, that's
Tia
kinda
still
wholesome.
doesn't know how to use chopsticks, so she holds one in each hand and makes a total mess every time she tries to eat.
Dude, someone teach her.
Particular morning, Tia tries to get Hannibal to find her a job. She says the only thing she's good at is killing, but she doesn't feel like killing anymore. So Hannibal recommends that she either becomes law enforcement or a bounty hunter. She's a strong fighter, so arresting criminals would probably be easy for her. Tia gets excited by this idea, so she grabs Hannibal
Just
by the
kidnaps
neck
him?
and drags him outside with her.
Okay, good.
She makes him take her to the town's quest board so they can take a look at all the wanted posters.
This is good.
They end up tracking down
No, what's up,
the thief who
Konosuba
tries
guy?
to blow them up with magic stones, but Tia punches him in the face.
What are
and
we in
ties him up.
Skyrim? Why are we in Skyrim's, like, Thieves Guild?
She even gets him to snitch on a bunch of other criminals in the town, resulting in a very successful first day of bounty hunting.
Good
Later
job,
that
Tia.
evening, when Tia gets back to the apartment, she proudly displays her large bag
Why do you
of
need
reward
money, though?
and then tries to put her feet up on the dinner table, obviously resulting in a scolding from Rem. However, her eyes lit up when Rem presented her with a gift, a brand new wooden spoon. Finally,
So
she didn't have to use those
goofy.
annoying chopsticks anymore.
Yeah.
Tia smiled as she ate with her new spoon, and she appeared
Like, okay, like, what do I want? Look at this. Tia with rice and a little Diet Coke. It's just a perplexed. I'm just
It
perplexed.
was like she was some rare animal that had never experienced home-cooked meals before. After dinner, Hannibal announces that he's gonna get drunk and then take a bath.
Thank you.
Suddenly, Rem says, "Let's go to the bathhouse."
Yes, bathhouse
That's right.
episode.
This is the hot spring episode of
Thank
the Sloth
goodness.
IF Story.
Please tell me we got fan art for some of this. Oh, like what I'm seeing right now. Thank you.
Hannibal and Subaru try to relax in the water, but Tia climbs the wall.
Tia,
and tries to
stop
wave to them
hopping
from
the
other side.
barrier.
She was naked, but sadly the wall covered up all the good stuff. Still,
Okay,
her
dude.
wet hair and shoulders were quite charming, and Tia was honestly really attractive. But she was too innocent to understand the purpose of the wall, so she tries to climb over and jump into the men's bath. Suddenly, Subaru hears the all-too-familiar sound of chains, and then
Oh,
something
Rem.
wraps around Tia and
Yeah, Rem's
pulls
using her,
back
her
down.
ball and chain. That's funny,
Rem
actually.
apologizes from the other side of the wall, and Subaru wonders how and why she brought her Morning Star into the bath. On their way
How?
back to the apartment,
Okay.
Subaru notices that Tia's been wearing a new
What?
bracelet.
What? The bath's already over? How long was that? Man, we got 50 seconds of bathhouse. That's so
As a
sad.
gift. As the four of them walk together, Tia starts humming a song. The same song from last chapter, actually. Hannibal asks her what it's called, and Tia replies with the Die song. But other than that,
Wow.
it was a wonderful night, and everything was going well.
The Die song.
This is chapter 4, 6 months. The days continued flowing by like water.
The Die song.
The four friends kept visiting the bathhouse.
You cannot have a girl sing you the Die song and then just go on as if nothing's happened, okay? You cannot have a girl Diet Coke with rice, hop the bathhouse wall, and then sing the Die song. It's just, that's a few things too many.
Humming her song on the journey back home. Rem has been pregnant for 6 months, and they've been
You getting your
neighbors
baby
with
bump?
Tia
You
for
got a big
3 months
whoomp?
without any problems. At first, they were worried, but by now it was a completely.
Are we
stable
finding the
life.
light
The way
ball?
Tia
We
thinks
still gotta find
pregnancies
that.
last for 12 months, but nobody even bothered correcting her.
Oh,
She
that's
had
good.
become an irreplaceable friend to them at this point. But the truth was, Tia still wanted her light ball back, and even though she hadn't spoken of it for months, it was still in the back of her mind. But Tia had actually made the town a much safer place by arresting all the criminals and hunting down all the mob beasts. The townspeople had started to appreciate Tia, and as a way of thanking her, a mountain of gifts were left inside Tia's apartment. Tia got embarrassed when she saw everything. It was flowers, candy, kimonos, all sorts of stuff just for her. Later that night, the four friends had a big feast to celebrate
Yum.
Tia becoming a member of the town. After the feast was over, Tia fell asleep immediately.
Good night, Tia.
Apparently, one of her
The
gifts.
crazy thing though is that like in the main story, all these characters are running around doing things, right? Like Tia exists, and she's probably being annoying and accusing some random person of stealing her stuff, right? And then we got Hannibal, who's Hannibaling it up. You know, so it's just crazy. Like the more we expand the world, the more moving pieces are going on that we might never even like see. I mean, surely we'll see some of these characters in the main story eventually, right? Like I feel like this is like a foreshadowing, kind of like, you know, like here are some characters we'll introduce later, kind of thing. But I don't know.
Expensive bottle of alcohol.
It's just
and
crazy.
she drank
It's
it
just
without
crazy.
knowing what it was. Rem
And like, how do you're gonna keep drinking the alcohol? Doesn't it taste bad? Like, why do you keep drinking that if you don't know what it is, man?
grabbed a blanket to put
Unlucky.
over Tia so she wouldn't catch a cold, but suddenly Tia wakes up and grabs her.
Where's my light bulb?
Rem was the only one close enough to see Tia's face, so Hannibal and Subaru didn't notice, but Tia had been crying.
Oh.
Give it back, she says. And before Rem could realize what was happening, the wind blew.
She gonna kill her? Oh my
Violently
goodness.
flew across the room and slammed into the wall. Tia's eyes looked like she was dreaming, and with tears pouring down her face, she mutters, "My body, where is it? Where did
My
it go?"
body.
Hannibal quickly realizes that Tia was a threat, so he dashes forward and hits her with enough force to cut through a tree, but Tia dodges it and shot back at him with wind magic.
Sister just duking it out in the living room, and Subaru's just chilling.
The two of them fought for a while, but the apartment building was starting to collapse. Subaru grabs Rem and gets her out of the apartment. She was in terrible pain. Rem's body bent with an
Oh no,
agonized
is
look on
her
face
is the
as
baby
she
okay?
held onto her stomach. Meanwhile, the destruction
Yeah,
in the
that's
apartment continued.
kind of really bad actually.
Subaru runs back inside and yells at both of them to stop fighting. Suddenly, the madness left Tia's eyes and Hannibal put his weapons away. Tia looked around at her surroundings with a confused expression. "We need to take Rem to a healer right now," Subaru says. Hannibal picks her up and then jumps across the street.
Thank you,
Subaru
Hannibal.
hurries after him, leaving Tia behind, alone. Tia wanted to stop Subaru from leaving, but she didn't know what to say, so she just sat there cowering.
I think
like a
Binding
child.
of Isaac music is
She
playing.
extends
That's
her
crazy.
hand, but obviously couldn't reach it.
Bars.
Subaru was angry and afraid of Tia, but right now, all he cared about was his wife and child. Fortunately, the baby was alright, and Rem was able
Okay,
to
baby's
recover.
fine. Recover.
But after that
Good.
night, Tia never returned to the apartment building. Chapter 5. 10 months.
10 months.
The noisy, fun life they had with Tia had met its end, and the next 3 months went by within the blink of an eye. Rem still loved Tia from the bottom of her heart,
Aww.
but even hearing her name gave Subaru an unpleasant feeling. He was still angry at her, and he definitely hadn't forgiven her. But regardless, Tia was no longer a part of their lives, and really neither was Hannibal. Ever
What?
since that night, Hannibal was committed to finding wherever Tia ran off
Okay,
to, so
fair.
Rem and
Thank you,
Subaru
Hannibal.
didn't see much of him anymore either.
I like Hannibal
But they had
actually.
bigger
Hannibal is
things
probably
to
my
worry
favorite
about.
of the new characters that I've been like introduced to with the If stories. Hannibal is definitely my favorite.
At this point, Rem's baby could be born at any moment. One morning, Subaru
Did not
heads
get that
out
reference. I think that's
to get
okay.
some groceries when suddenly he sees a flash of white that reminds him of Tia's hair. He
What
keeps chasing
maze?
after it
Okay,
until
look at
eventually
him
he
go.
ends up in a dark alleyway. The person he finds is definitely Tia, but something was different. Yeah, it was
Other kimono.
the Tia Subaru remembered had a white outfit, but
No,
this
she's
time
wearing the
it was
black.
black.
That's a problem.
Die, she
Yep.
says, and then a violent wind of bloodlust hits Subaru directly. Well, at least that's what should have happened. Somehow Subaru survived the attack. Yeah, seconds before the wind was about to touch him, Tia grabbed him and flung him out of the attack's radius.
Oh, two
That's
Tias.
right, Subaru
Okay,
was now
two
looking at
Tias.
2 different Tias, each wearing a different colored outfit.
Final destination. So,
Subaru joins the
who's
fight
the
too,
body?
and
Maybe the
starts throwing
the light ball.
onions
I don't know.
at the black Tia.
Okay, thank you.
His throws
Yeah,
were
the
pathetic,
onions.
And nothing he threw actually hit the target, but after he throws a bottle of alcohol, the black Tia stops moving. As the scent of alcohol reaches her nose, she covers her face with her hands and lets out a groan full of pain. This should have been a victory for the white Tia, but she was affected by the alcohol as well. Apparently, Tia must have had some traumatic experience with alcohol.
With getting
in the past,
drunk.
because when she smells
Yeah.
it, she loses the ability to function.
Well, I mean specifically, she literally just drank alcohol and then splattered her friend Rem, against a wall and then ruined her entire friendship with everyone because of getting drunk, right? So that's probably
Surprisingly, the black Tia's face starts melting.
what was kind of
Her
happening.
body slowly
Okay.
falls off of itself like she was shedding her skin or something. Even the size and shape of her body was changing. As if
To a
she had
light ball?
been
To a
using
light
some
ball?
kind of transformation spell.
Is it like a mind-body split?
Now, guys, there is no official art for this character, and I couldn't even find any fan art, so I apologize for the lack of visuals here, but hopefully the words will be enough to help you picture
New
it.
character, okay.
The black Tia had transformed into a young woman that looked about 20 years old. She had dark brown hair, a pale face, and light blue eyes that were filled with hatred for Subaru. But her most remarkable feature was the 2 glowing objects protruding from her skull. Yes, this woman was another Oni, the same race as Rem. Looking at Subaru,
Oh, wow.
the Oni woman's bloodlust overflowed, and the storm of wind obliterated the surrounding buildings, causing them to collapse into the alleyway.
And she got crazy wind magic, right? Which is, you know, fitting with Ram.
The white Tia was still frozen stiff, so Subaru carries her out, and the two of them escape back to the
Hallible!
apartment.
Hallible!
When Rem saw Tia, she tackled her with a hug.
Aww.
After a 3-month hiatus, Tia was finally back, and yes, she's got some explaining to do. Hallible had returned as well.
Thank you,
and
Hallible.
the four of them all sat down for a while and had a long conversation.
2 hours later.
Finally, the Tia mystery was for the most part solved. Apparently, Tia had no idea until today that she had a clone. What happened was a young Oni woman stole Tia's light ball, which was basically the...
Okay, Tia. So one Oni woman steals the light ball, and then you see another Oni woman and you say, "You stole my light ball." That's called racism.
Source of her power. So with the light ball in her possession, the Oni woman gained Tia's appearance as well as her wind magic capabilities. But because she was the same race as Rem, they both...
Because she was the same... Okay, yeah, and that'll hold up
Same
well
to
in
Tia,
court.
so that's why Tia
Okay.
thought Rem took the light
You're
ball.
hilarious.
Also reveals her true name. Yes, she is the Great Spirit Zarestia, also known as the
Right,
Phantom
of
Killer
the...
or the most
Yeah, of that
evil.
location, right? That's in the... Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the light ball is actually an extremely dangerous item. While Zarestia has it, she turns into...
So, the person... Because when Super was looking for a job, right, he went to the quest board. The person... Because he wanted to take the quest to go to Zarestia, but somebody else had already taken it. The person that had already taken it must have been the woman, the other Oni woman, that took the ball, right? And then they got it. Ended up looking like Tia. 2 Tias. Why is Oni Tia trying to kill everyone? You know, why is other Oni woman, evil clone woman, trying to kill everyone? You want to explain that?
a ruthless murderer like the Black Tia is. In fact, if Tia had it right now, she wouldn't
She's
be able
evil.
to stop herself from killing everyone in the town, including Rem and
Oh,
Sue.
wait.
As it, she turns into a ruthless murderer like the Black Tia is. In fact, Zarestia has it, she turns into a ruthless
Okay,
murderer
so
like
she
the Black
turns
Tia.
evil when she gets that power. Okay,
In
just
fact,
kidding.
if
That's
Tia
why
had
she's
it
killing
right
everyone.
now, she wouldn't
Evil
be able to
power.
stop herself from killing everyone in the town, including Rem and Subaru. So whenever she finally gets it back, she's gonna have to stay far away from civilization, and she'll never get to see Rem and Subaru again.
Sag. Yeah,
Hannibal
Hallible,
had
you
some
want to
new
explain
information
something?
for us as well.
What you got?
Apparently, the Oni woman was the one who accepted the quest.
Yeah,
to
that
rescue
okay, that's what I
Zarestia.
was saying.
However, she wasn't very interested in the actual quest, but more so the light ball itself. She wanted to use the light ball's power to fight the witch cult, because just like Ram and Rem,
She had
her
good
village
intentions.
was also attacked by the witch cult when she was a child. And remember, Subaru smells like the witch, so the Oni woman
Okay,
must
that's
think
fair.
Subaru is
That's
a witch
fair.
cultist, which would explain why she keeps
She's
attacking.
doing what Rem did in the
Anyway,
mansion.
Tia is ready to go off on her own to fight the
Nah,
Oni
okay.
for the light
I can
ball,
see
so
what's
she
happening.
says
I like it.
goodbye to everyone and then flies
Later,
off
Tia.
into the night sky. And yes, Rem was very sad about this because it meant she would never get to see Tia again. But as heartbreaking as it was, there was still a much more immediate issue taking place.
Composure fades from Rem's facial expression, and she starts to breathe a bit heavily. She's going into labor. That's what Subaru says.
That's right, Rem was finally going into labor.
Baby time, baby
was going to
time.
be born, and Rem and Subaru's lives were about to change forever. Subaru carries Rem through the streets of Kararagi, running as fast as he can, without realizing that, in a sense, he was still running away.
Ooh, okay, bars.
Now, the next chapter is an
Hey.
interlude called Death.
We go right into it. Interlude. Death anniversary. Something like
After
that.
losing my family when I was younger, all I had left was myself. But despite my tragic
Tia,
past,
or the Oni, I
was
mean.
still a high and proud woman of the Oni race.
Yes.
I now lived in a village full of demi-humans who had been rejected by society, yet for some reason, they accepted me. As time went on, I started making friends with them. I established a daily routine and eventually became satisfied with my ordinary, peaceful life. Finally, I was comfortable once again, and for that, I was glad. It was when I had thoughts like
Wait,
these
Monogatari
that they all
reference.
disappeared in a scene of flames.
This is Sloth, right? Oh my goodness.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah.
To part 4 of the Rem.
Just kicks off into
This
bloodshed.
is the final part of the series, and we will be covering the last 3 chapters, starting with the interlude, then chapter 6, and finally the epilogue.
Okay, so the interlude's probably
Last
just
video,
the
we
Oni
learned that
Oni
the Dark
woman.
Tia is actually
backstory.
an Oni woman borrowing her appearance and her powers. This
Look at that.
interlude is actually
Art,
the Oni
actual
woman's
art.
backstory, and because she hasn't been named yet, I think I'm gonna read it from her perspective to make it easier to understand. Before I begin, though, I have to warn you, there is a brief appearance of a character.
I'm gonna let it
that also
slide.
appeared
I'm
in
gonna
Part
let it
5,
slide.
Also known as Season 3. I will be using
I'm gonna
this
let it
character's
slide.
official artwork, and I'm going to include
Am
all
I?
the details that this chapter provided. That being said, I still think anime onlys can watch this without any problem.
I'll trust you.
Spoilers are so
I'll trust you,
minuscule
Akidona.
that
I'll trust you.
probably wouldn't have even known you got spoiled if I didn't tell you. We don't even get the character's name. If you still want to
Okay,
skip
no,
through,
that's
though,
fine.
check
Hit me
the
with it.
description for timestamps. But without further ado, let's begin.
You think I'm
where
scared of a little baby spoiler? Nah. Nah. What do you take me for,
The young
Akidona?
man
What do you
who
take me
taught
for?
to grow crops, the elderly neighbors who showed me kindness, all of them burned. I was the only one who survived.
That's
The
horrible.
hooded figures overpowered me and laughed as my body slowly burned in the fire. As I lied there helplessly, I heard another woman's
What is that?
voice approaching me slowly. The voice was both psychotic and wicked, and it echoed inside my head, tormenting me.
What is
As
that?
if I wasn't already suffering enough, the
Is this an archbishop? What is that? Gluttony? No. Wrath? No. And I don't know. What is that?
crazy woman walked up to me and poured something disgusting into my body. It creeped in through my ears and slithered around inside me, violating my body. The whole time, the crazy woman taunted me while the other witch cultists laughed. I shrieked in agony as
Oh,
not just
you know
my
what?
body but my soul rejected the repulsive liquid flowing through my insides.
Is this like an arch? Because okay, so this woman walks up with the cultists. Like the cultists are aware that she's here, so she works for the cult, and she just put some juicy juice from these big juice pouches she got into homegirl's mouth. Is she like spreading wrath or something? And this girl's about to like become tainted with wrath and anger. Little wrath.
Work's all done, the crazy woman
Later.
said as she walked away. But even after she left, her voice kept echoing inside my head. Suddenly,
Work's
my
all
nose could
done.
detect the witch's scent for the first time. I could smell the people that tortured me and burned my village. The disgusting thing she
Why
poured
would
into
you
my
do
body
that, though?
somehow advanced my sense of smell. And from that moment on, I vowed to punish anyone who smelled like the witch.
Wait, so the witches, they literally they give her a nose power up, awaken bloodlust against witches, and then let her go? But why? I don't know. They do be kind of crazy though, not gonna lie. Time skip.
Using my party members' dead bodies as shields, I was able to get past the deadly wind surrounding Zarestia's bed. After retrieving the light ball, I finally
Okay.
had enough power to slaughter everyone with the witch's scent. One particular night, my nose reacted strongly to a young man walking the streets of a town called Banan. He was on his way home after a hard day's work at one of the town's mansions, and there was someone with him too, a cute woman with blue hair. She was another Oni, the same race as me, the same blood as me. I didn't understand. How could another member of the Oni race be happily in love with someone like him?
With a
someone
witch.
that smelled like the witch.
With a witch
Is she
person,
really
yep.
going to protect a witch cultist? In that case, I'll just have to kill her too. The woman dressed in white collapsed after I threw her against the wall. Her
Oh.
scream sounded familiar. Her voice is the same one I hear endlessly telling me to kill. I lifted her up and drained her of her power. I watched as her existence
Okay, that's
slowly
not
turned
good.
into dust. With her last
So
breath,
evil Tia, which is the Oni girl, just beat normal Tia, and is sucking up her juice to put it poorly. Okay, so that's probably what the witches wanted, right? Because now she's saying that normal Tia here is the voice is the voice she keeps hearing that's repeating. So she's like doing whatever it takes to make the voice like be quiet. So yeah, bloodlust makes you kill everyone. Bad
It sounded
news.
like she was trying to say someone's name. However, it didn't matter to me. The woman crumbled into dust.
So yeah, I could see why the
Flames
witches
scattered
might want
by
this to
a
happen.
wind.
The witch cult, I mean.
Finally, my power was complete. All that's left now is to get my revenge. Not only on the enemy with the scent of the witch, but also that woman who's close with him. Killing both of them is the only thing that will comfort me. This will be my atonement. It isn't hatred, it's my duty.
Last month of pregnancy.
Rem was laying in bed at the clinic with Subaru at her
Poor
side.
Subaru
The child
literally runs away with Rem so that he doesn't have to deal with all this nonsense, and now he's having to fight like a great spirit that just killed like his friend that was split with witch cults and bodies, and who knows what was up with the season 3 person, you know, like
could be born any second now.
Man's got the
Rem
worst luck.
second-guesses herself.
It's just
She
unfortunate.
reflects on her past and admits that she was a bad child and a bad sister, so maybe she'll be a bad parent as well.
Oh, that's
Subaru
sad.
tries his best to comfort her, but she asks him again if he regrets all of this. Subaru was quiet for a bit, but after a moment he rubbed his eyes and then spoke up. No, Rem, that's not it. I've been saved. My entire life I've been running. I ran away from my parents. I ran away from reality. I even ran away from the promise I made. I threw away everything and ran away with you. But even after all that running, when I heard that we had a child, I was happy. And that's what saved me. Rem was speechless after Subaru finished talking. Her red face got even redder, and with tears in her eyes, she gave Subaru a slight smile and told him, but then Subaru is kicked out of the room by the doctor because Rem's about to give birth and Subaru would just get in the way. Outside of the
Brutal.
clinic,
No, let him stay in the room for the
Hannibal was
baby,
waiting for
man.
Subaru. We've got business to take care of.
No, my wife's giving a pregnant right
In his
now.
kimono, he reveals a bracelet identical to the one he gave Tia. Apparently, these bracelets have magical power as long as there's 2 of them. But Hannibal's bracelet lost its magical power, meaning that something bad happened to Tia. When
Smart
Hannibal and
move.
Subaru realized this, the 2 of them agree to avenge Tia and stop this Oni woman once and for all. The slaughterous wind turned everything to dust. Hannibal's throwing knives were repelled by the wind attacks. No matter how many he threw, he couldn't hit the Black Tia. The Black Tia was busy dealing with Hannibal, but she couldn't ignore the stench in the air. The witch's scent was
the
getting
Subaru
stronger, and it
scent.
disgusted her, to the point that she couldn't take it anymore. She ignored Hannibal and went straight for Subaru. You know,
He's bait.
your face is
He's
a lot
bait.
cuter when you smile, almost as cute as my wife's, Subaru says. The Dark Tia replies with die and then shoots at him with wind magic, which is blocked by a knife thrown by Hannibal. She chases them across rooftops, blasting wind magic at them. All the while, the voice in her head continues telling her to
Yeah,
kill
she
them.
definitely got a sip of
She
that wrath
senses that they
potion.
might be leading her to a trap, so she was hesitant.
Which makes me think that that wrath is that the person we saw, which I know it's like a mini tiny spoiler thing question mark, but I'm still gonna read into it. The woman we saw, like way back here, right? Where was she? Yeah, with the juice potion, makes me think that she's the Archbishop of Wrath, which would mean that an archbishop's a woman, which breaks the pattern of all the archbishops we've seen like up to this point being male. Which is kind of similar to how every witch was a woman up until it was broken by Hector. So, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. It feels like a weird pattern to establish where like most of the characters that are archbishops have been dudes, and then maybe now there's a woman one, and then most of the witches in that generation of witch factors were women, and then Hector broke the pattern. I don't know. It's interesting.
However,
I wonder
something
if there's like
happened
meaning
made
in
her
that.
lose all sense of reason.
Because yeah, her homegirl's gone crazy with the wrath potion. Oh, activated stink bomb.
The witch's scent intensified, and the Dark Tia lost control. She jumps down and shoots a blast of wind at Subaru, and Hannibal launches him into the sky, but is
Oh my
able
goodness.
to avoid the attack himself. He apologizes to Subaru, and then dies. The Dark Tia felt joy after confirming the kill, and looked up at Subaru, her next target. The The voice inside her head told her to tear
Okay,
his
so
body
Hannibal
limb
has just
from limb
perished.
and then bring his remains to his wife to teach her a lesson. But while Subaru's flying through the
Subaru,
air,
please
he
die,
shouts,
right?
"Do it now!" And then suddenly something was thrown at the Black Tia from every direction.
Oh no, Hannibal clones! Hannibal clones?
It was a bunch of wet pieces of cloth slowly
Oh yeah,
flying.
to make her disintegrate,
She
right? With
still
like the
had
alcohol?
plenty of time to kill Subaru though, and without Hannibal, Subaru had
You know,
no
Hannibal's
way
just
to
dead,
attack.
you're telling me?
But the voice inside the Dark Tia's head telling her to kill suddenly changed. "I don't want Rem to hate me," it said, and then the Black Tia froze. She couldn't move her hands.
Oh, wow,
or
did,
legs. She couldn't kill, and she couldn't.
Did like the
wet
Tia
pieces
within
of
her,
cloth.
like the true
They hit her
Tia,
and wrapped around her body over
just
and
make something
over.
happen?
She screamed as if her skull was breaking as the sharp scent of alcohol entered her nose.
Yeah, Hannibal clones. I was gonna say, like, what, Hannibal can clone, like, we're good, right?
Her body lost its form and started coming off as if it was ice melting. She lost all her
Nice,
power as well
nice.
and was now nothing more than a regular Oni. "I'm sorry," Hannibal says, and sticks a knife
Ugh.
in the center of her chest. It was over.
Good move, Hannibal. Just take her
The
out.
art of
Thank you,
curses, and
Hannibal.
To apply a curse, you have to touch someone. Well, Hannibal infused some of his fur and nails into his weapons so that they can apply curses as
Oh,
well.
good,
This
smart.
means that in chapter 2, when Hannibal threw a knife into the woman's back, he applied
He
a
cursed
curse
her.
to her.
Nice.
Hannibals throw knives at her and
One
she
in her
manages to
back,
block
yeah.
two of them, but the third pierces through her thin back. So this whole time, she's actually been a lot weaker than she would have been if Hannibal didn't
Good
crush her
job,
in the
Hannibal.
first encounter. This really says a lot about how smart and powerful Hannibal really is, and also how powerful the great spirits are as well.
Yeah.
Being able to operate this efficiently
Well
under
cursed.
the effects of a curse definitely implies tremendous power. Anyway, Subaru apologizes to the dying Oni woman. He tells her that he's not a witch cultist, he's a father, and that's why he had to kill her. Protecting his pregnant wife.
No,
is
deserved.
only
Yeah,
concern.
this woman's
I hate
too
her,
far gone.
the Oni woman says. She was talking about Rem. Her eyes weren't looking at Subaru or anywhere in this world.
I mean, she's in pain. Like, I feel bad for her, you know,
Doesn't exist.
but
It was the happiness she was supposed to have.
Yeah.
The life that was stolen from her. All she had
Yeah.
now was hatred and jealousy towards Rem. No, it was envy. "What's
oof.
your name?" Subaru says. The girl tried to talk but couldn't get the word out, but from what Subaru could hear, her name was Reese. As the light left her eyes,
Alright, well.
Subaru vowed to never forget her name, but her envy
Had fun
was
being
something
dead.
Subaru would never speak of again for the rest of his life.
That's what happens when you. Well, it's not even her fault. She got hit by the witch potion. She got hit by wrath potion, right? Is kind of the idea. So, bad RNG. Bad RNG. Don't be in a village that gets attacked by the witch cult next time. Unlucky later.
Doubt, actually. Tia was very popular, so the town was more than happy to help avenge her. The plan ended up being a success, as there were no victims other than the Oni woman, but that was unavoidable. Suddenly, a wind comes down across the garden, carrying a white figure to the ground. Yes, Tia was back.
Welcome back, Tia. Oh wow, Tia backstory.
Many hundreds of years ago, long before there were witches and dragons, the great spirit Celestia roamed the continent freely, using her magic as she pleased. With her hands, she produced fire. With her legs, she dug up the earth. With her tail, she created water. And with her mouth, she controlled wind. The great spirit had a friendly relationship with the people of the world. She would
Okay.
do favors for them, and they would offer her gifts in return. However,
Little
there
Dr.
was a time
Stone.
when the people asked her for fire. Just fire. But Celestia wanted to use wind magic as well, as wind magic was her symbol of freedom. So she gave the people both
Oh,
fire
good. You
and
burn
wind,
everyone
and
down.
the combination of the two resulted in the country burning to the ground.
Good job, Tia. Just burnt the entire planet down.
Celestia didn't understand.
Okay, Tia. You're telling me you are the elemental great spirit, and you didn't know that fire plus wind equals more fire? That's called a misplay.
Why what she did was wrong, so the people turned against her. They
Or maybe she was aware of it, but just wanted freedom. You know, let the fire be free.
celebration and
or
gave
whatever.
her alcohol to drink. She
Oh,
didn't
wow.
understand what alcohol was, so she drank everything they gave her. And eventually she passed out, and that's when the angry citizens got their revenge.
Wow. Okay, that's where the alcohol comes from. The PTSD for the alcohol.
When Zarestia woke up, she was missing all her limbs. Her arms, legs, and tail were gone, and with them, her ability to use fire, water, and earth magic disappeared as well. My body, where is it? Give it back, she said. But the people wouldn't listen. Instead, they showered her with alcohol and set it on fire.
But she still had
Zarestia
wind,
still
yeah.
had her head, her mouth, her fangs, and her wind. Not a single person survived. Zarestia killed everyone she saw, even those who were innocent. When Zarestia was happy, she wanted to kill. When she was sad, she wanted to kill. When she went to sleep, she wanted to kill, and when she woke up, she wanted to kill.
That's pretty
It was the
understandable.
only way for her to feel free again. So she killed and killed and wouldn't stop. The same people that formerly called her beautiful now called her a Shinigami. I am Zarestia, the most beautiful Shinigami. And Zarestia was free.
That alcohol backstory is
Rem
pretty
was in
interesting.
terrible
I like that
agony.
quite a lot. Oh, does this have
Giving birth was
captions?
so
Oh, this had captions. My fault, my
painful
fault.
that she couldn't even feel the horn coming out of her head. She focused all her energy into the baby, closed her eyes, and tried her best to push through the pain. But when she opened her eyes, she saw something unexpected.
Oh, Tia.
It was no hallucination. Tia truly was standing there, smiling with a murderous look in her eyes.
Oh, no.
It was a genuine smile, but it was completely full of bloodlust.
Oh, no.
She was
Oh,
wearing
no.
a white outfit, so it was definitely the good Tia. However, the aura she gave off was exactly the same as the bad Tia, which meant, "You got your light ball back," Rem says. Tia gets embarrassed and starts nervously playing with her hair, and with a red face, Tia timidly confirms Rem's suspicion.
I want to kill.
She wasn't
Okay.
afraid, but she had to ask. "Tia, are you going to kill me?" After a moment of suspenseful silence, Tia answers her. "I want to, but I love you guys, so I won't kill you."
Thank you, Tia. Thank goodness. I was about to say, if you kill a pregnant Rem while she's giving birth,
Subaru
That
still
would've been-
wasn't
that
allowed
would've been
inside
really
the
dark.
clinic, so he sat outside with Hannibal, praying that everything goes all right. He prayed to every deity he could remember, and even added Tia's name
Tia.
at the end of the list. Hannibal asks him
That's
if
funny.
he's decided on a name for the child yet,
Ooh,
which
yeah.
of course he had. Subaru says that if it's a girl, he wants to name her Spica. And if it's a
Spica.
boy... Before he could finish, the clinic door opened and Rem walked outside.
With a baby.
In her arms, she was holding her newborn son.
Son! What's his name, Subaru? What's the name?
Rigel, it's time to
Rigel.
go to school, said Rem to the 6-year-old boy with light blue hair.
What is good with you,
was a
Rigel?
sassy, energetic kid, just like his father. Except Rigel was also different from his father in a lot of ways. For one, he was able to produce a single horn from his forehead.
Nice.
Which would gather mana and fill his body with strength, making him feel like he could do anything. But he
Got a little bit of
avoided
Oni in
showing
you.
his horn around his mom because he knew she felt guilty that he was only born with one.
Aw.
Rem was actually pregnant again, and Rigel made it clear that he wanted the baby to be his little sister. For some reason, Rigel is a major siscon. But anyway...
What does that mean? What does that mean? Rigel.
And Rigel is a major siscon.
What does that mean? I love Rigel. You're telling me Rigel's a problem? I mean, I'll curb stomp Rigel if I need to. I don't want to, but I'll,
Rigel
you
runs
know.
into his Uncle Hannibal.
Uncle Hannibal.
Secretly training him in the arts of this shinobi.
Nice.
Obviously, Rem and Subaru have no idea that Hannibal's been doing this. The two of them chat for a while, and after Hannibal leaves, Rigel runs into a beautiful woman.
Oh,
dressed
he
in
runs
white.
into Tia.
To his surprise, the woman addresses him by name and explains that she knows his parents. She offers him a bracelet as a gift, but
Aw.
Rigel turns it down. After all, Rem always told him not to accept things from strangers, so Rigel rejects the gift, and then Tia starts crying and threatens to kill him.
I'll kill you. No, wait, Dave.
Rigel wasn't afraid of her, though, because
Okay.
somehow he could tell that she wasn't really going to hurt him. The
Because he's got that Shinobu
woman
emotion reading in him. He got that
introduced
dog in
herself
him.
as Tia, and and explains that she's basically part of his family, so he can trust her. The two of them start walking together, and Tia hums a song along the way.
The kill
same
song, the
from
die
before.
song.
In fact, it might be the only song Tia knows. But surprisingly, Rigel recognized the song. It was the same tune his mom would hum.
That's pretty
sometimes,
sweet,
and
actually.
If he remembered correctly, she had always called it the Tia song.
The Tia
Well,
song.
I guess I'll just have to accept her as family then, Rigel thought to himself.
Wow. You know what's so sad? Rigel just doesn't exist in the normal world and never will. Unlike a lot of the characters like Tia or like Hannibal or whatever, who like are out there and doing things, like man just doesn't exist because he literally is the consequence of actions that Subaru doesn't take.
Ordinary
That's
looking town
brutal.
in that corner of the world. Irreplaceable happiness existed for the Natsuki family.
That was a dub. That was a good ending.
There also existed things that were sacrificed,
Amelia,
that were lost, places
Puck,
that were abandoned, and memories
Roswell,
that can't be forgotten.
Ram.
But despite everything
But a good
left
ending.
behind,
Yeah.
Natsuki
Not bad.
Subaru and Natsuki Rem will continue
Oh,
to
Natsuki
live in this
Ram.
world as it
Or
goes
Ram.
on. And that was one ending for the lost boy who wandered into another world.
Bars. Okay, no, that was good. That was actually a good ending, which is crazy to me. It's because it's Sloth. Right? And my boy Beetlegoose
And that
is a Sloth
concludes the
member.
Rem If prequel.
So we can trust
This was
Sloth
just
as
a
like
prequel, so
a
the
decent
story does
sin
continue
to
with the
fall
original
into.
Rem If, but after this point,
I guess.
all the conflict is resolved, and what's left is basically just slice of life type filler stuff.
Oh, that's funny.
So right here is where the Sloth If story really ends, and the content after this point could be viewed as a sort of OVA, for lack of better terminology.
The
What makes
Rigel
this If
OVA.
story different from the others is that Subaru overcame his mental conflict by the end of the story.
Mhm.
In the beginning,
And he
Subaru
stops running, like he stands in like for his kid.
chose the path of sloth, but once he realized
Yeah.
that he was a father, he chose diligence instead.
That's so
and finally
good.
went through the same development that he was supposed to get from episode 18. The difference was, in the main story, it only took him that one conversation with Rem to obtain it, but in the Sloth If story, it took him much longer.
Right.
It's not like he didn't choose the right path in the end.
It just took him
he was
too
just
long.
too slow. I thought that was a very clever way of thematically incorporating sloth into the story, while
And that's probably why he ended up with a decent ending, right? Because he did end up.
still giving Subaru a
He did
happy
end up.
ending with Rem.
Yeah, he
This
did
If
end up doing
story
it
gave us
correctly.
a lot of new information, a massive amount of world building, and some awesome new characters that could potentially appear.
Yeah, where's my
later on in the
Hannibal
main
at?
story. But in my opinion, the most important thing from this If story are the possible theories that it allows us to form. I don't know how many of you picked up on this, but I want to talk about a huge detail from this story that might
Okay.
affect the main story in a future arc. For some reason, the witch cult was trying to exterminate the Oni race, and that crazy woman was conducting some very evil experiments with a mysterious liquid.
True.
But the Oni woman Reese wasn't able to smell the witch's scent until after that liquid settled inside her body.
This is true.
Reese
I think it's a bit of the witch juice, right?
being able to smell the witch's scent was a symptom of that crazy woman's experiment.
Yeah.
This is very important because it means we can assume that normal Oni aren't supposed to be.
Oh no. And Rem can do it. And Rem can smell witches. So if normal Oni can't smell witches and Reese got juiced to smell witches, then what happened to Rem that she's able to smell witches?
able to smell the witch's scent.
Oh.
But remember, Rem can.
Yeah.
Rem can't, the other Oni can't, and Reese couldn't either.
So Rem got juiced.
Until the crazy
Or
woman
something,
poured
I don't know.
liquid into her body. So the theory is something similar happened to Rem when her village
Ooh.
was attacked, and that's why she's able to smell.
I'm
the
kind of
witch's
here for
scent.
that. I like that. I like
This
that. I like
story
that.
also pretty much confirmed that the founder of
Good
Kararagi
theory.
was originally from Japan. I mean, literally
Yeah.
everything in
Yeah.
Kararagi mimics early Japanese culture, so that's another very interesting detail that'll probably have some relevance in the future. But anyway, I really enjoyed this.
No, yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. long, which
It's
is fine,
great,
which
and
is
I had a
fine.
blast making these videos as well, so thank you guys for all
But
the
yeah,
amazing support.
that was a good
you've
good
given
story.
this series. I also want to give a special thanks to Dominic for the
Hey,
amazing
shout out to
Reese
Dominic
artwork.
for the
I think
Reese art.
This might be the first fan art in existence for this character. So
Yes, look at this original
seriously,
Reese
thank you
fan
so
art.
much, man. If you guys want to
And crazy thing, Reese is out there right now, right? She's making
see
moves.
more of Dominic's artwork, you can click the link in
Probably. Well, let's see. So like, yeah, she probably did the Tia stuff. Probably is happening like right now in the like main story, but Subaru just isn't there for it. So, you know,
description, and I highly
maybe
recommend you check him out. He's very, very talented.
it's very realistic that
Also,
could be
let me know what
happening.
you guys thought about the Sloth If story. How does it hold up against the others? I think this one might be my second or third favorite now. I'm not sure, but it was definitely better than I thought it was the very first time I read it. By the way, keep in mind that these videos are just summaries, and I have to handpick which details to include.
Yeah, and there's a lot of details that get left out. That's just kind of how it goes. No, yeah, I like that one. I like that one. Almost as good as Lust would be my ranking. Okay, let's do Greed. Also, apparently, I'm pretty sure the actual voice actor for Subaru and Ekidona voice lines. So that's kind of sick. Yeah, Pog. So yeah, let's get Greed going. Little 1736, not too shabby. Get going in. And let me real quick say, I think this is probably going to be like Subaru accepting Ekidona's deal. 3, 2, 1, bang. Because I mean, it has Ekidona as like a
dream. I saw a dream.
Okay, just kidding. Screw whatever I'm talking about.
That wouldn't end.
I actually haven't heard the dub, right? So this is the dub voice actor you're telling me? That's kind of crazy.
Over and over again, I repeated and corrected every mistake. But before I knew it, I lost count. I died.
The return by
over
deaths.
100 million times.
Oh.
And yet there was still a place I wanted to reach. A wish I wanted to protect. No matter what, I had to save everyone. And that's why I took her hand.
Oh my goodness. This is actually so good already. So he died, what, hundreds of million times before he had to take her hand? So something was different, right? Like he was even more desperate than the main story him. Is that what you're telling me?
Natsuki Subaru woke the same as any other day, except a voice was in his head.
Oh.
After forming the contract with Echidna, she's been able to communicate with him through sound waves, and she can watch everything he does through the black crystal pendant hanging from his neck. With Echidna's help, Subaru was able to save the sanctuary, pass the trials, and protect everyone he cares about. But that didn't come without a cost.
Yeah, what's the
After dying
cost?
over 100 million times, Natsuki Subaru was now a completely different person.
Okay.
He's desensitized to a lot of things and no longer fears death. He's become a new version of Subaru that abuses his ability as often as he prefers to. All the while, the Witch of Greed watches him in amusement. This is Kasaneru.
Kasaneru. Bars. I kind of feel like this would be my favorite one. Just by premise, right? By premise.
As soon as he finishes practicing his smile in the mirror, Subaru touches the black crystal pendant he wore around his neck. As he held it in his hand, its presence grew stronger and started to pulse as if it was a living thing. The pulse grew faster until it was equal to Subaru's own heartbeat, and that was precisely the moment his consciousness left him.
Tea party
Without a
time.
word, Subaru sits down across.
And we know though from, actually I won't say it because it's the cut content, the cut content thing that we read, right? For the cut chapter at the end of season 2, that kind of spins into this in an interesting way potentially. I won't say it out loud because spoilers in case people that haven't read that but are watching this, you know.
What the tea was made of. It had just been so long since he cared.
You could at least say hello.
There's no
Ooh.
reason to. You're already prying inside my head day and night, so what's the point?
This and that are different matters, you know.
Oh,
Reading
Ekidona.
properly is simply the polite thing to do. After all, I am a shy young maiden, as delicate as a flower.
Of course.
The meaning of those words change without me noticing.
Oh, that's
Kasaneru
so
was quite
sick.
tolerant towards Subaru's impoliteness, so his sarcasm didn't bother her. She relaxes her mouth into a smile, which causes Subaru to accidentally admire her beauty for a moment.
What's the matter?
Accidentally.
You're staring at me.
She was a perverse, demonic figure that exuded a sensation of inescapable ruin and destruction, but Subaru still found it difficult to be afraid of her. The two of them talked for a bit, but it wasn't typical for them to delve into idle gossip, so Subaru planned on returning to reality as soon as possible. Before leaving, he tells her that from now on, he's removing the pendant whenever he uses the bathroom. And then, despite her pleas for him to stay, Subaru exits the tea party without...
He doesn't want her
saying
spying on him taking a
with
piss.
nothing but a sigh.
That's funny.
When his consciousness returns, he confirms that only a few seconds have passed, but he still wasn't used to the discomfort produced by the gap between worlds.
Maybe I'll never get used to it.
Subaru spoke out loud, talking to himself, but Echidna was always listening and would often interject with her own suggestions, which began to annoy Subaru to the point that he asked her not to speak with him if it wasn't necessary.
Yes, I understand. I'll be silent except for when it's absolutely necessary.
She's scary, man.
You just made a witch obey you. You truly are a master at this.
Shut the hell up!
There was a sudden knock on Subaru's door, but having repeated this loop already, he knew exactly who it was.
Oh, Petra!
Right on schedule, Petra says good morning and explains that she's got plans to go shopping this afternoon. However, she doesn't...
So he saved everyone
They chat for a bit longer.
from season 2, pretty much. We're like right at the end of that.
Sparring with Reinhardt.
Oh, nice! Garfield's Reinhardt, nice!
Was easily defeated.
Unlucky.
Continue, Garfield left angrily to go wash off the dirt his body was covered with. Reinhardt, on the other hand, didn't even work up a sweat, and somehow the grass
Poor Garfield.
had returned to its original clean state. The thought of Reinhardt as an enemy gave Subaru the chills.
For good
That's
reason.
exactly why Subaru secretly led him to join the Amelia camp about a year ago. By convincing Felt to drop out of the royal selection and abandon the Estrella family, Subaru caused Reinhardt to feel depressed and out of place. With nowhere else to turn,
Right, why is Reinhardt the literal, like, strongest guy in existence, I would say? Why is this guy... Well, other than Subaru. I'm gonna say Subaru's stronger than Reinhardt just because his ability is stronger than Reinhardt. Because, I mean, look at the different stories. The way that Subaru can influence the world is more than Reinhardt can influence the world. But in terms of actual combat power, yeah, Reinhardt's just OP, right? So why does this guy care about Felt being in the royal race, man? But also good move Subaru for, like, getting Reinhardt on his side.
accepted
Respect,
Subaru's
respect.
offer to support Amelia, but after being abandoned by Felt, Reinhardt was never the same.
Yeah, I'm curious
With
what's
his
even
trauma
up with
trauma,
that.
Garfield was miserable as well, but
Oh,
instead of
Garfield.
working through his trauma and solving the problems within his heart, Roswaal and Subaru excluded him entirely and forced him to leave the sanctuary against his will. If they hadn't, he would have been eaten by rabbits, but the result of saving him was an unstable Garfield whose depression was steadily being
Okay, he never got to-
rage.
he never got to,
Became
like,
an outlet for him
go
to
through
release
his
anger, but even that
thing,
only
his character
reminded
arc.
Garfield of the strength he lacked. Talking
That's
with Garfield and
sad.
Reinhardt wasn't intentional though. Subaru just happened to run into them on his way to the library. The mansion's library was actually where Subaru's daily routine was supposed to begin.
Betty! Betty?
Hey, Beatrice. Sorry to intrude.
Beatrice said nothing and sat in a corner with her forehead pressed to her knees. In the past, she
You
might have
okay,
greeted
Betty?
Subaru with some form of insult, but now she wouldn't say anything at all.
Beiko. Come on. Don't you want to play outside?
Beiko.
Subaru kept pestering her until she finally had enough and told him to shut up. Her voice was hoarse and she almost sounded like a different person. But hearing her voice at all was a big relief to Subaru because typically she wouldn't even speak a single word to him, so today he felt pretty lucky. During the events of the sanctuary, Subaru forced her to leave the forbidden library that she swore to protect. Up until this point, Beatrice had dedicated her entire life to her contract. But now, that contract was broken, and so was Beatrice. In a deep depression, Beatrice spent the rest of her days incessantly sobbing, with a non-existent will to live. Subaru wrapped his arms around her to comfort her shivering body without knowing that
Okay,
he
this
was
is-
really the one searching for comfort. Beatrice hated it.
This is
so she clawed
horrible.
at his neck until it bled. Subaru eventually gave up and shut the door behind him on his way out. leaving
This is so
Beatrice alone.
horrible. It's literally like he saved everyone, but they're not actually saved.
Wonder if I should have
Right,
lied to
because...
I could have said I was.
Right, like Garfield's alive, but he hasn't been
Saving
saved.
her life was the right thing to do.
Betty's
Now,
alive,
it's
but
a
she hasn't
shame
been
that her
saved.
contract was broken in the process.
Right, because it was done
Hold on a
improperly
second.
through
Is
Ekidona.
it your fault that she ended up this way?
Yeah.
Well, of course, I will take partial responsibility for the child's solitude, but my
Dude, this episode is so good.
misfortune upon her. I do hope you understand. Even if devastated by regret momentarily, there will come a day where that child is free again. In due time, someone will accept her. Perhaps that someone is you. There are an infinite number of possibilities, after all.
Ooh, Ekidona's voice is getting me feeling
Finished
some
with his
kind of way.
conversation with Echidna, Subaru ran into Roswell in the hallway.
That's
Roswell
Roz.
appeared to be in an excellent mood, and there was a certain element of respect in the way he addressed Subaru. Roswell had come to appreciate Subaru's utility and respected him for all he's accomplished. Subaru wasn't too happy to be working with him, though, especially considering all the trouble he caused at the sanctuary. However, Roswell was too great an asset to be cast aside. So reluctantly, Subaru cooperated with Roswell, and the two of them worked together towards achieving their respective goals. Because Roswell changed the way he acted towards Subaru, Rom did as well. She no longer insulted him or called him Barusu. She spoke with courtesy in a dignified manner as
Actually
any
treating
man
him
would.
like a normal
However, there were no
maid.
traces of familiarity or friendliness in her voice. She was distant and treated him as if he were an esteemed guest whom she had no prior connection with. In the
That's
room with Rom
really
and
sad.
Subaru, Rem slept silently in her bed as she has been for the past 2 years. At
Oh my
Subaru's request,
goodness.
Rom left the room, giving Subaru some alone time with Rem. Well, Rem and someone else.
Hey, Echidna.
For you to call me is truly a rarity.
Could
This
you
is just the
remind me how I
depression,
grew up?
the depression arc.
Echidna explains that there are 3 possible
Oh,
ways to
oh, oh!
The first is to find and question the sin.
Oh, do we already know all this?
And try to make
We
them
might.
reverse the effects.
Yeah, okay, let's see.
However, finding them would prove to be enough of a challenge, and defeating them would be even more difficult.
Not the
and
swimsuit
we don't even
guy.
know if the authority can be reversed.
What,
The
lie?
second option is about as equally unlikely as the first because it would require cooperation from the sage, which, according to
Oh, we need the
Echidna, isn't a
sage?
realistic expectation
What's up
either.
with the sage,
So
man?
we're really only left with the third option, which is to obtain the blood of the divine dragon. The omnipotent power in the dragon's blood would certainly
Okay.
be enough to wake Rem from her sleep.
Dragon
However,
blood.
The dragon only offers his blood to the ruler of the kingdom.
Ah,
That's why you absolutely must make
Amelia. We get Amelia the ruler, get a drop of dragon's blood, put it in homegirl's mouth, and we're good.
Door,
Okay.
Amelia knocks back from the other side. She lets him in, and they have a nice little.
Are we good?
flirtatious
Are the two of these two good?
Amelia changes when she notices the scratches on Subaru's neck.
From Betty.
Immediately, she realizes that Beatrice was the one responsible, and then a large quantity of mana surges out of her body. The air starts to freeze, and Amelia.
Why are you
freezes.
like this, Amelia?
Soon, the mansion and everything around it will turn into ice.
Amelia, calm down. Everything's all right. Hey, Amelia, look at me.
Subaru hugged Amelia's body and desperately called out to her.
So she's like
Eventually,
still
she
super
snapped back to
codependent.
reality after seeing Subaru smile at her. Earlier that morning, Subaru had practiced his fake smile in the mirror because he knew Amelia would need it.
God
If she had
damn.
continued to freeze the mansion, Reinhardt would have had no choice but to stop her, and Subaru probably would have had to use Return by Death again. So luckily, the fake smile worked, Amelia calmed down, and the mansion was safe again.
Everything's just like
So different from before
hair
because
trigger
what
from
she
falling
saw in the
apart,
trial brought back
you know?
painful repressed memories that continue to haunt her relentlessly. And because Subaru took the trials for her, she
never got to
able
conquer 'em,
overcome
yeah.
her traumatic past, resulting in an unstable,
Dang.
incomplete version of Amelia that was now entirely dependent on Subaru.
Codependent, dude.
It would be more convenient for
Uh.
you if she were an emotionless doll that followed your every command.
Shut your
Subaru
mouth.
tried his best to
This is
ignore
so
Echidna,
bad.
but sometimes it was difficult to do so. Echidna disliked Amelia and would often make rude comments when she saw her. This really bothered Subaru.
Of course it
but not
would.
as much as the guilt did. He couldn't help but wonder if perhaps Amelia would have been better off without him. Whether or not he made the right decision was a question that constantly plagued Subaru throughout his daily life. Echidna would offer him reassurance, but it was never enough. The possibility of regretting something was terrifying to Subaru.
Otto? Yeah, what's happening with Otto? Did Otto leave? What does that mean? My little Otto.
After having a bit of a panic attack, Subaru hurried back to his room. He didn't want anyone to see him like this, but when he opened the door, he found a dark-haired woman sitting on his bed.
Okay, Elsa, why are you here?
Elsa was no longer an enemy. She
Okay.
wasn't exactly an ally, but in any case, she didn't pose a threat to Subaru anymore. In fact,
What is this, a lover?
she was now her employer.
Employer, okay, I was about to say.
Behind the scenes doing the dirty work for the Amelia camp, and with Elsa's assistance, they were able to kill the Sin Archbishop of Greed.
Oh, we killed
and the
Regulus.
Bishop of Wrath.
Oh,
However,
nice.
Elsa's current assignment to
And we took out Wrath.
Blood
Nice.
was unsuccessful.
Nice.
Oh, Elsa. You were outside earlier, right?
I mean, yeah, it's been a huge time skip. For him to kill one or two more, you know, kill slash take out more archbishops just makes sense.
And then asked her for another small favor.
I see.
What's your favor?
Please, take your knife and lop off my head.
I see. Okay.
Oh. And try to make it painless.
Elsa was a bit confused at first, but
He's deciding to reset something.
serious, she followed his order.
Oh, that's so OP.
Sprayed across the room,
Ugh.
his consciousness faded away.
Because that's kind of what I was saying. Like, if we could, I used to say that a lot, right? Where it's like, if we could perfectly kill ourselves in a way that doesn't bring us pain. I'm saying like us. I mean, like if you have Return by Death, right? If Subaru could perfectly kill himself in a way that doesn't have pain, then yeah, reset as much as you want. That was like one of my original like thought processes, right? And this is kind of what he's doing.
Would have to clean up the mess. Elsa would sometimes question his sanity whenever he asked her to kill him, but would still obey him anyway, making her an excellent means of using Return by Death.
No, yeah, 100%. What's he resetting though?
When Subaru woke up, Echidna confirmed that he had reset to earlier that same morning. She also asks him why he used Return by Death, but he doesn't give her an answer. Once again, Petra knocks on the door.
Is this to save mental, or is this to change the Betty
And
thing?
just like in the previous loop, explains that she has plans to go shopping this afternoon, but doesn't know if the weather will be nice enough. However, this time, Subaru has a proper response for her.
Rest assured, Petra. The weather's going to be nice today, so you don't need to worry.
And that was the response
That
Subaru
was-
died for.
That was it?
Subaru sacrificed his life to give Petra that information. A small, insignificant detail such as the
Just to tell her the weather,
more
dude?
Subaru than his own life. Meanwhile, atop the hill in that meadow of green, the lonely witch let out a sigh.
Using your own life to protect others is noble indeed. However, your ability, Return by Death, is a double-edged sword. If the lives of others become too desperately consequential, you can no longer value your own.
With all the afflictions and hardships that Subaru went
Wow.
through, he was unconsciously led to rely on the witch. And with Subaru's Return by Death ability at her disposal, Echidna held the world in her palm.
You truly are someone who can satisfy me.
She swore to wholeheartedly assist the boy with his own goals however she possibly could, but at the same time, also intended to satisfy the inexhaustible curiosity of a witch. So from now forth,
This,
suffering
dude,
and
this
unreasonable
story is so
would
horrible.
descend upon the boy for all eternity. His suffering would become her satisfaction, and that was the witch's love.
Even so.
A proposition that would remain sempiternally unsolved, and yet an enigma that would forever enthrall her.
Why must love
Always fade? They've said that before. That's a really good line. That was so good. That was my favorite one, I think. Just because of the presentation, largely, right? Like the actual voice actor, or a generous volunteer. So yeah, maybe the Natsuki was someone else, but yeah, they got I think they got actual voices for like one or two of those, right? But yeah, I mean the presentation, but also just like it's like the realism of it, right? Because I felt like out of like all these different routes, that this is like kind of the one that it would seem the most realistic to me to actually have occurred, you know? Because for him to go pride mode and, you know, all of that to happen, I don't know, maybe, but like the offer, Ekidona's offer was the most tempting offer I think that there's ever been from like my perspective, you know, like as an audience, right? And so to see like, yeah, everyone's alive, but none of them have been saved, and on top of how something as simple as like, oh, the weather, like I'm gonna live this entire line out so I can see what the weather will be like later, and then I'm gonna die so that I can let Petra know what the weather will be like. Like, I kind of respect it, but it's like that horrible thing where it's like, no, you can't do it like that. Like, that's not gonna work, man. Like, it's just depression too. Like, everyone's just sad, right? I mean, Reinhardt's all sad. Amelia's codependent and like on the verge of insanity, pretty much. You know, is freezing everything as soon as she notices scratches on Homeboy's neck. Betty is completely depressed. Petra's fine. I mean, good job, Petra. Oh man, this part right here though, this was probably the best part of the video.
Entire life to her contract, but now that contract was
Where he like hugs Betty.
in a deep depression. Beatrice spent the rest of her days incessantly sobbing, with a non-existent will to live. Subaru wrapped his arms around her to comfort her shivering body, without knowing that he was really the one.
He was the one looking for the comfort.
Beatrice hated it, so she clawed at his neck until it bled. Subaru
Just like those two little lines there, I feel like those are just so good. And just everyone's sad and depressed, man.
Millions.
So did he die 100 million times?
I died.
Like
For
after,
100
including
million times.
after the
And yet there was still a place I wanted to reach.
including after the deal, because the way this is phrased sounds like he died 100 million times and then signed the
I
deal.
had to save everyone.
So maybe he like couldn't find the way out of the sanctuary, and so he eventually resorted to Ekidona.
And that's why
Because yeah, it's I died 100 million times, and that's why
I took her hand.
I took her hand. Man, in a weird way, it's almost like slothful, you know, where it's like he's giving up and letting somebody else take the reins. You know? Yeah, that was so good. It might have just been presentation diff, but that was my favorite just in terms of like straight watching the videos, right? That was my favorite video. Favorite story, I feel like I'd actually probably have to read the stories to make a good one. No, my favorite story is Lust, of course. After that, ranking them would be hard to do. Wow. Yeah, I'm kind of just shell-shocked off of that one, I'm not even gonna lie. Why must love always fade? It just makes me worried, because like, if this is Ekidona, which it is, right? If this is Ekidona, then what is going to happen in the main story, right? If this is what happens when she gets what she wants, what is going to happen in the main story? The dragon's blood detail was also important, and was interesting. That should be important to look out for. And like, I think they might have said that in the royal selection stuff, but that was a long time ago, right? So just the ruler can get some dragon's blood. Dragon's blood is very, very good and can cure Rem. So that's one option. I'm kind of thinking what's probably going to happen, though, in the main stories, we'll actually go deal with Lai. We'll find a Lai ourselves somehow, and then that'll be how we deal with Rem. So, I don't know. Should be fun. Yeah, those if stories were pretty fire. I would definitely here for them. Again, conceptually, one of the coolest things that like you could even do, right, for the stories. Greed was my favorite of the videos. Oh, let me make sure I like these videos. I wasn't liking them. I'll even subscribe. There you go. Boom. It's that easy. It's that easy. And yeah, that's all I think I really got to say for these. It's hard to like, or not hard. I feel like it's digging super deep into them is kind of like it's over, right? That's all of Greed. So predicting what's going to happen next is kind of mute, but that's all right. It was good to watch and I enjoyed it. So Pog. But yeah, that's all I got for this episode. On to the next episode. Tier list. We're going to do the tier list next, I'm thinking. And then that'll probably be where we leave it for ReZero, at least for the foreseeable future. maybe season 3 down the line. Hopefully that gets produced, or I don't know, other stuff potentially. We'll see what happens. We'll keep it. We'll improvise, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I really got for this episode. On to the next. Of course, if you like the video, subscribe. If you're new, blah, blah, blah. Comment down below if you have anything to say. Or join the Discord, talk to me there. And yeah, that's all I got for this. I'll be seeing you on the tier list. Peace.